What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex and you're watching a Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. Last night I watched Mad Max Fury Road, and Mad Max Fury Road is the fourth installment in the Mad Max franchise. Mad Max now has 4 films and they're all directed by the same director, George Miller. George Miller directed Mad Max in 1979 and Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior in 1981 and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in 1985. I've actually never seen any of the Mad Max films until now. I have no knowledge of what they're really about, except for Mel Gibson is in them. I know that they're a cult fan favorite. It's about a post-apocalyptic world, or rather it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, and it involves a lot of car chases. That's all I know about these films, and that is my expectation for this new installment. Now, one of the questions that I had before watching this film was, is this a sequel? Like, do I need to know anything about the originals, or is this a remake or a reboot? Well, after watching this film, I just found out that it is a reboot. It is not a sequel, because the character that Mel Gibson played in the original trilogy is now played by Tom Hardy. Alright, it's not a remake, because they're not retelling the same story that was told in the original film. It is a reboot because they're telling a new story with the same character, played by a different actor, but taking place in the same world that George Miller created. Alright? Now, the last film came out in 1985, or rather the third film came out in 1985. Fast forward 30 years later, in 2015, a lot of things have changed. A lot of technological advances in film production. Alright? Technology, CG, camera equipment, stunt work, all that stuff has evolved, and that is very, very important, because I was thinking that George Miller waited this long to make another Mad Max film because he's waiting for the technology to advance. And what that does, you know, by waiting for that long, and with the advancement of this technology, what it does is that it makes for the vision that he's always wanted to give us. Okay, he's waited 30 years, and now he's given us the definitive Mad Max film. Now, that's what they're saying in a lot of the articles about this film. I haven't seen the original film, so I can't say that it is definitive film. But for what I've seen last night, you know what? I'm going to be bold enough to say that this film is probably better than the first 3. And you know who the star of the film is? It's not Charlize Theron. It's not Tom Hardy. It's not Nicholas Hoult. Even though they did a fantastic job with their characters and their performances, it's not them. They're not the stars. The star is George Miller. You know why? Because it's George Miller's vision. George Miller's vision really, really sticks with you. It's not Charlize Theron's performance. It's not Tom Hardy's performance as the title character. It's his vision. This post-apocalyptic desert wasteland of a future. This harsh world that he has created. It almost is psychologically, it sticks to you. It sticks to you psychologically because the imagery, the attention to detail that he gives us, it almost feels like the desert. This future is a character. It's the main antagonist in this film. The lack of water, the lack of fuel, the resources that they're fighting for. This wasteland is a character in this film. And what it really makes us feel is, it makes us feel like this is a very, very harsh future. It's fascinating. We want to know more about it. Like I said, he puts this attention to detail to all these little things that we will never understand. As audience members, like that know nothing about this world, I feel like that I want to know so much about this world. It's so fascinating. He's created all these little things about this world that really make me question it. I know nothing about it, and there's some things that I'll never ever understand because it's his imagination, his twisted imagination. Does it need an explanation? Does it need answers to my questions? No, it doesn't, because it's awesome. Okay? For example, why does there need to be a guitar guy playing a guitarist on top of a car? Because Mad Max. Why do they need to play drums? Because freaking Mad Max. Why are they freaking why do they need to spray paint their mouths chrome? Because it's freaking Mad Max. It doesn't require an answer. I'm sure there's an answer out there, but I don't question it because it's freaking awesome. Okay? All the little things that he's created for us, like he's put in the film, is just imagery that is so outstanding. You know, and I'll tell you what else is outstanding? The performances from the stunts. Okay, the stunt performers, the stunt drivers, the people who coordinate all the stunts, everybody involved with the stunts and all the action choreography. These people are really the ones that need to deserve all the praise, because this is what this film is all about: action, car stunts, car chases, just grand spectacle. A lot of reviews are saying that this is a 2-hour car chase. It is. It is a 2-hour car chase. They're always in pursuit, okay? But it's really essentially 1 hour worth of actual vehicular action along with some other types of action. But still, this movie is 100% all the way engaging from beginning to end. Right when it begins to the very, very satisfying finale, it is engaging. And it's not just because of the visuals, but the fact that we have these characters that are very, very interesting. We get to know them through their actions. It's very interesting, but because typically you get to know characters through the dialogue, the exchanges of dialogue, the chemistry, and all the things that they do that's not really physical, or at least not all of the physical things that they do. In this movie, it's the physical things that they do that make us get to know their characters. Alright? And what I love about this film is there's a great balance between the characters. A great balance of, I guess, presence. Because Mad Max is the title character, but Charlize Theron, Furiosa, also takes quite a bit of time on the screen. She's got quite a bit of screen time. And then you have a supporting character like Nux, played by Nicholas Hoult, who I originally thought was just a peon. Right? But, you know what? He has a bit of a part in this film. Alright? And I felt that there was a really great choreography in balancing these characters. And when I say choreography, I mean choreography in the script writing and the camera work, in balancing the screen time for these characters and the chemistry. It's done really, really well in a sense where I actually want to root for every single one of these characters. All right, it's done really, really well. Okay. And that all goes down to George Miller's directing. Like I said before, George Miller is the star of the film. All right, it's not the actors. I mean, the actors are the stars, but the biggest star is George Miller and his vision. Like I said, I don't question what he does in this movie because it's set in a world that I'll never understand. It is a very, very harsh world that contains a lot of disturbing imagery. And this disturbing imagery, they play it out in front of us, and all we wonder is like, what the hell was that? All right, but I don't question it. I just enjoy the scenes that are given to us, and I'll tell you, George Miller's best friend is his camera crane mounted vehicle, okay? Because with that vehicle, with the camera crane, it captures so many beautiful shots of these car stunts that were done realistically, okay? The preparation of these car stunts, I'm sure, took a lot of time because there were so many beautiful shots of all these actual car chases. Like, they were actually done without CGI. The only CGI that really took place was creating backgrounds, like, for example, the sandstorm, the citadel, the way that the background looks and all that stuff. But apparently, all the car stunts were done real. And some of that camera work and just how everything was happening on the screen just felt so beautiful. George Miller is like the John Woo of car stunts. And what I mean by that is that John Woo can create ballets of bullets and gunplay in such amazing gun choreography, gun action choreography. Well, George Miller does the same thing, but with car stunts. And he does it oh so well. Okay? This film is beautifully directed, and the performances were top-notch. Love the action. Pacing was perfect, and never a dull moment. Now, no film is perfect. If I could improve one thing, I would say that it would be cool if they saved some of the best action and saved it for the last half of the film. I felt that George Miller did put a lot of his best tricks in the first half, and when it got to the second half, while it was very spectacular, I felt that he put some of the best stuff in the first half of the film. I wish he could have saved it for the last half, which would provide for a even more satisfying ending. But, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. The ending was very satisfying, but I felt that it would have been cool to see something really, really, really epic, okay? But George Miller's vision, fan-freaking-tastic. It almost feels like George Miller sat down with all the screenwriters, or I don't know how many screenwriters were involved, but he sat down with his think tank, and then he said, okay, we got these cars, what can we do with them? Tell us, write down every single thing that we can do with these cars. Write down even the most outrageous things we can do, and we're going to do them, okay? And that's what he gave us, because he did do them. There's evidence of that all over the screen for the 2 hours that you're watching this movie, okay? So it was very, very awesome. Oh, man. It's definitely a must-see film on the big screen. Check it out in 3D. I actually felt that the 3D works. You really, really feel the depth of the film. I know it's not for everybody, but I enjoyed the 3D. And I'll tell you, my favorite scene in the entire movie is when Max, Furiosa, and Nux meet for the first time. That little moment there, that was cool. And this movie always keeps you on edge. Because like all the reviews say, it's a 2-hour car chase. And because of that, there's no time to stand still. They're always in pursuit. So it keeps you on the edge of your seat. I love this movie. 9.5 out of 10. Very, very high score. Definitely the best action film of 2015. Okay? Loved it. Alright? So there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name's Oxy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely will be the writers for Infinity War. Alright? Which is great. It's exactly what they need.